I grew up knowing ONWAA inside out. My mother was always busy with it. My name is Susie Taylor. I was the welfare administrator for Curve Lake for 28 and a half years. I've been retired for 9. I'm the daughter of Kay Taylor. The main thing was that she was a tireless, hard-working woman.
Kay did it all. She was one of those people that had the leadership visionary.
Kay Taylor, founder of ONWAA. She was a lady who never quit, demonstrated a high degree of integrity. You can still, hear her motivation and, the interest that she has, the integrity.
Sean Stapleton. I worked for 28 years for the Ministry of Community and Social Services, as it was then called. At the same time, there was a whole movement as First Nations. The government relationship should not be one of the province to municipalities, but of First Peoples as a nation to nation thing. So that flavor was starting to come into the sense of the organization. And as it did, it was 1979 or 1980 that at an OMSA convention, she said that they were going to break up with OMSA. First history was bringing in the first few bands. Then it moved on to stretching that out in all of Southern Ontario. The next big thrust was the Northern Ontario, moving of the breakup and peace-up seminars to the north. And then the breakup with OMSA, then the manuals and syllabics. So I'd say then the next big thing was training.
With ONWAA, I was in a number of roles. The one for me, the one that's been most valuable was to be the trainers for Southern Ontario. 1994, there was actually just the two of us. There was Dorothea Shkakogan, actually from Sagamok, and myself from Wapsimmung Independent Nations. So we were the first two, actually, at that time, for all of Ontario. Subsequently, throughout the years, as things changed, as things shifted, new governments coming in, things changed.
My name is Sandy Porter. I'm one of the former executive directors of ONWAA. There was a lot of, I guess you can say, opposition because there was election at that time. Mike Harris was elected. He was a new premier. He came out with a blueprint to Ontario, right? And that's what he said. He was going to introduce Ontario Works, and there was going to be some significant changes. I had a chance to go up to one of the remote communities. And being from the South, I've never been in a remote community. So I went up and I went to Sulako, where we had to stop, right? And that was kind of like my first time being in a very, very small airport, right? It's very, very small. And I asked this guy, he says, yeah. I says, you travel up here much? He said, yeah, I travel. I said, you probably got a lot of stories, eh? A lot of memories. He says, yeah. He says, one time, he said, my plane got delayed and he was traveling into one of the remote communities. And I guess they said, well, somebody's going to come and pick you up. He said, okay. So that's this guy in a very small, I don't know what kind of plane. It was a 2-seater or whatever. It wasn't much, I guess. Started their way into the further north. And I guess he said, do you want to see some animals? And I guess the non-native guy said, yeah, let's see. And so he dipped down, right? And then he said, I got kind of scared. He says, he looked over at the native guy. He says, can we do this? Would you get your license suspended? The native guy looked at him and he said, what license? So that was a story that crosses, it's a memory that crosses your mind.
Oh, I can remember one time in particular traveling to the assembly. Susie Taylor and I were flying, and I don't know if that was her first time flying.
I remember the first plane ride I was ever on by myself, and I was so scared going to Thunder Bay.
She was very nervous, and we just happened to be sitting together. Well, we talked so much, she didn't even know we took off. She goes, I didn't even know we took off. So that was kind of nice to know she was put at ease. When I started, it was called General Welfare to Ontario Works, which made the job way more complicated, way more policies, and it was just more confusing.
And we had some struggles and some challenges as an organization, ONWAA as an organization, because there was a better relationship, I guess you can say. And then when the new premier was elected, he come in with some sweeping changes.
So led to, of course, to the point where we had no employees.
And Patrick was moving the office to his house, to Sault Ste. Marie. He was picking up papers, doing all that, trying to move everything in his little car. And if you know Patrick, he's very tall. But he moved it and stored a lot of the papers in his garage.
We had all the filing cabinets off the desk, so we had to go get those. We had to amalgamate everything in here so we could find a solid footing again. But that's where ONWAA was. ONWAA was based there, and I was working with Susie, but also with Cindy as well.
And we talked daily, and I said, we're just gonna have to start from day one. Kay started it from nothing and built it up.
The welfare administrator at the time, Sharon, she told me, she said, Mike, she goes, well, ONWAA does a lot of training. She goes, I go to the conferences, I go to the assemblies, you're up here. She goes, we never get a certificate. She says, is there a way that we could get a certificate that we did this training to hang on our wall? The idea came from just someone asking us a really simple question about a certificate on the wall to be right on their resume, to then doing a deeper dive, looking at the number of administrators. So it was a tactic, it was part of a strategy to try to keep people from leaving. Then we issued an RFP to find a post-secondary partner, and we were really happy that Algoma University responded. It became clear that Algoma was the partner of choice, just because of their history with being part of the residential school. And the whole Shingwak, it influenced the culture of that institution. So it was a really easy choice to go to the university, and they, at the time, they were really, Gail Broad was with them. And
when I first became involved with ONWAA, which I think was back around 2007, 2008, we responded to the RFP, and then we worked really closely with a team of people, the board of ONWAA at the time, as well as Mike and some of the other staff in the office. ONWAA designed 2 courses that were around the financial aspects of the program, and we designed 2 courses that were around first the history of social assistance and welfare administration in the province.
Hi, my name is Stacey Williams. I'm the project manager for ONWAA. I've been with ONWAA since 2008 in various roles. My office is located in Kenora, Ontario, which is near the Manitoba border. And I am proud to say that I am a member of Migizizagigun, which is located in Treaty 3 territory. FUNSAC, First Nation Social Service Administrator Certificate Program, was actually the project that I was hired to be a part of. ONWAA is one of the only certified training programs or certificate programs for income assistance workers. Frontline are saying outside of the policy support and research support is that, the training and learning development, understanding, perspectives from a poverty or social dependency lens or trauma-informed lens, I think is really, really important. I remember when we first wanted to start providing some type of online training and taking a look at that. We have a director that just has vision. Some of the communities that I've had to travel into have cost more and took longer than a flight that I could have taken to Europe. One of the other issues and challenges, of course, is always the technology infrastructure. Our digital team has been working about what are some of the alternatives and kind of flagging the importance of infrastructure. But Providing virtual forums, online training, online courses, really, it just kind of equalizes access to opportunities and training for all of our First Nations.
ONWAA provides incredible training for both homemakers and income assistance administrators and Ontario Works administrators in the province of Ontario. And even with this upcoming national and provincial reform that's occurring in the social assistance file, the work is not going to diminish. It's going to increase as communities require different solutions and begin developing policies and procedures and potentially income assistance laws that meet their community needs. So that is what we are here to do, and that's why ONWAA is so important, is that we provide that grassroots training and development for our frontline workers on the ground delivering service.
Congratulations, ONWAA, on your 50th anniversary.